One. Hey, Amotz, welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you today and about your organization, Storydoc.
Hey, how are you? I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's dive in. And I want to hear at the onset, tell us a little bit about Storydoc. What is your role at the organization, and what does the day in the life of you look like at your company?
Wow, those are a few questions in one. Um, so I'm head of marketing in Storydoc. The company itself is you could say, it's a presentation maker for businesses. We create high stakes presentations that need to do three things to make it worth the price, which is first, stand out. Secondly, drive attention and kind of make it stick throughout the content. And thirdly, drive people to act. So like convert for marketing people, book demos for salespeople, things like that.
What does the day in the life of you look like?
Well, I have a kind of, you could say maybe kind of like a lean startup work style that I work in projects. So it really depends on the week or a couple of weeks that we're talking about. In the past week or so, I've been doing redos, which is just a fancy name for saying that I go over some of our oldest content, which is usually the more important content. And I make sure it's rewritten in a way that applies all the lessons that we learned throughout the past 2 years that I've been in the job. And making sure that these pieces of content get from position X to position X plus a lot.
Are you using AI to help you with that, or is this all manual?
With what? With the researching, with the writing, with the uploading?
All of that.
So I wish I could use AI for the uploading. We experimented a lot with writing with AI, but and we actually created some very, I'd say, good content. Like if you read it, you wouldn't know that it's made by AI. But sadly, Google does know, and a lot of these AI these tools that find out if it's an AI detectors. So they also pretty easily can say, even if it has degree of edit, so they can say if it's like completely AI paraphrase or AI with certain edits or like certain percentage AI, pretty precise, surprisingly well, which it wasn't at the beginning when I started off doing it. So, and I saw a lot of our AI content, AI only content being demoted. So I kind of deprecated that approach. Though it was promising at the beginning, at the onset.
What is that? Go ahead, complete that thought.
Yeah, but what we do use AI for, like the tool itself has an AI engine. So there's a lot to say there, though I'm not product, I'm marketing, but I have some like ownership there as well, because of the way that basically we pass the baton from content to marketing has these like overlaps that I'm involved in. But what we do use heavily AI for is automation, especially for things like outreach. Say we have a set of repetitive tasks that we want to do. So I create scripts with that. I don't even need to involve a developer to automate a lot of what we do for like our link building. And we do some research, which I think is quite innovative, to unearth like deeper content on the web. So one of the things that we do, and not to disclose too much, is like, so we look for things like podcasts, say, which are obviously not searchable and you can't find the text, so you can't find the insights on the web, at least not now. So we take that, and I have a script again that processes that as a transcript, and then we feed that transcript to ChatGPT, and then we take out the insights out of that. We are moral writers, so we actually give credit, but we're able to give the credit like where it's actually due, like the person that said it within the podcast, the minute, second that they said it. So it's like a quoting system that creates And this may bring us to like some questions you may have later, but this helps us to create uncopyable content, at least that's what we call it, where we mix in deeper insights into our content, but also things like quotes that ChatGPT or AI generated, even if it's quality generated, can't do because of the way it acts as a kind of like an averaging machine. You can't average a quote, am I saying?
I'd love to hear just Amotz as the individual. What are some AI tools that you love to use? Whether that's, ChatGPT, Gemini, something, a spin-off product. What is something that you're really loving?
I hope not to disappoint, but I mainly use ChatGPT. It's just a very, very powerful tool, especially now with the new 4.0 model. I played around with Gemini a bit, but because I'm not like the fact that I have a plus account in ChatGPT, and the fact that we're using a kind of an extension called AI PRM. I don't know if you heard of it. Basically, it lets you share freely right now, but you can also pay, but it lets you share prompts. So I have like a team prompt directory, and then I can prompt engineer a lot of prompts for whatever, for what I just told you about, taking content from podcast, writing, going over documents and writing which is something, this is an example of something that we actually have. Like going over, say we have an example page, so we want to cover like, I don't know, 20 PDFs that have something. I can have a prompt that goes through all of these, creates like an excerpt of what it's about to give a writer a kind of like idea of what it's about. And then they can use that and then look into it a bit more to focus on things that are interesting. But that kind of streamlines a lot of it. ChatGPT is just a very, very powerful tool. So I never found myself needing like an AI writing tool, say like CRISPR, Jasper, and all these. I think Write AI or something like that. I checked it in the beginning. I evaluated these tools, but I never subscribed to any of them, just because I found that I can prompt engineer ChatGPT to create whatever customized content that I want, that's customized for what we do, and it works probably as good, if not better, than these tools that can never be fully customized to my need.
I want to get your stance on storytelling. So the reason I say this is that you have a product that's B2B. I could see a lot of different universes of this being something stale. But Storydoc has found a way to make this exciting. I told you this when we chatted before. The first time I landed on your website, it clicked for me immediately, and I could feel myself, getting excited to learn more. So how have you been able to do this? Because you're selling something that could be bland, but you've made it exciting. It's not like you're selling a Taylor Swift concert, something that's going to make someone jump out of their seat, but maybe for, tech nerds, you're able to facilitate that same type of emotional response.
First, I love what you're saying. Like it's so nice to hear. I work in Storydoc, and I still get excited by the tool. I get excited more than I would want, because actually the Storydoc website is built on Storydoc, but it's built on the earlier version, like a way earlier version. It's way, like, we really have to update it to the last one. But so the version that users get right now is like so many levels above what I'm getting, that I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for the point where I'll get to use it, because Storydoc kind of, like you may have insinuated that basically storytelling is our business. Like that's our raison d'etat. It's like our reason for existing. Basically, what Storydoc is a business storytelling machine. It makes it easy for businesses to create an interactive story, and not like the kind of like a cliche type of storytelling that you hear a lot in when you talk about like business storytelling, which is like write a narrative, or like use emotional words or things like that. You could do that, but that happens on a copyright level, and there's your brand tone of voice or whatever. That's something we can't control for, and we don't even want to try, because again, we're not a writing tool. We're a presentation tool. We're a design tool. But what we do give you at your fingertips is a way to create that content, whatever copy it is, in a way that's very visually appealing, and that it takes complex information, breaks it into little bits and bytes that you can complement with text and then visuals on the side, and then scroll down and you have like an image. Say you have a graph, or we have interactive graphs, but say you have a table, right? And you want the reader to focus on specific parts of the table because it's a complex financial document, whatever. Then you can actually, with Storydoc, you have this scrolling narrating capability that you can give it a type of supporting text, and then focus only, like highlight only specific cells, and then move on to like other cells. And if you have a very complex diagram, the same thing. So you can like gray out the rest and only focus on like a section or a part. Say you have a brain, right? So you can look at this part of the brain, then that, and then that, and say whatever you want on all that. And you have multiple ways of doing this, whether with tabs or narration, or obviously video and animation, things like that. We make all of that available. And the alternative right now to Storydoc is this, frame static PowerPoint that you could have the same like infographic or any type of data, complex, like flowchart or whatever, but it would be static, and you'd have all this complexity in one slide. And then if you wanted to break that down, then you get just multiple slides that then create like a kind of like a break also in your brain that it's not as easy to follow because it's not smooth. And it's like, it becomes like one slide in Storydoc, basically with just a scrollable slide, becomes like 10 or 20 in a PowerPoint. And everybody knows you shouldn't have too many slides in a PowerPoint. So I hope I answered or touched on what you said.
You did. And so with, storytelling needs to lead to some degree of a call to action, whatever that looks like in the customer journey. And eventually in that customer journey, real tangible results need to incur. So how does Storydoc measure success in marketing?
So it's actually very simple, because we're still a very young company. We're still in the process of growing, and growing fast is what we're trying to achieve. So we focus in our OKRs on as few variables as we can, and we focus on those variables or those metrics that we can actually control. So whatever falls under your ownership should be something that you can control, meaning that, say we reached 1 month before quarter's end, right? And I wanna make sure that I reach the OKRs, the KRs that I set for myself. And I'm like, okay, we kind of color coded like green if it's on track, yellow if it's somewhere behind, and red if it's lost. So let's say I'm yellow. I want to be in control of whatever that metric is, or whatever actions I can take in the real world to influence that metric, to say, okay, now I'm focusing on that. That one is green, red is lost, and then there's this yellow, and it's important. I need to focus on, leave everything and just focus on that. So that metric for us in marketing, we actually focus on just 2 metrics. So one is traffic. And the other one is something that we call view wizard. So like I said kind of before, the baton pass between marketing and product, and even marketing and sales, not marketing and product, happens when people go from the landing pages, any page on the website, and then click, probably, we have like a very sophisticated way of getting people to act. I'm going to side note here and say that we have a surprisingly high conversion rate from the website. Like the average is 30%. If you've ever heard of, I don't know, to me it sounds a lot. Like I worked in other places and it was never that high. 30% of all users landing on the site convert to my main metric, which is view wizard, meaning that they were interested in creating a presentation, and then they landed on our AI wizard, which is what I kind of touched on before, that we have an AI engine that practically runs at least the initial onboarding, but we have a lot also within the tool itself. But this is the more—
I want to digest that real quick, because that's an amazing metric. And it goes back to what I said around storytelling, is that I was very much captivated by your homepage. So what are some user experience points you have of what helps to facilitate a 30% conversion rate there?
That's proprietary.
Okay, we don't need to dive into it.
No,
I'll
no,
just
not
highlight
really,
on,
not really.
you have a
No,
great
no, no, I was
homepage and it's
kidding.
captivating.
I was kidding. I was kidding. Actually, what we do there is what we offer all our clients to do. I can drop a few of like the secret sauces if you like. But actually, the homepage is it's like branded. So talking about the conversion rate of the homepage is kind of like misleading because it always has a very high conversion rate. But let's talk about another page, our sales deck creator or our pitch deck creator, which is one of our strongest pages. It has 70% conversion rate.
Wow.
70%. And that's steady, like over time. And so what we do there is what we offer our clients. You have a strong visual hook to begin with. So like the title slide, if you like, the above the fold in web has some kind of video that is gives an insight or suggests what's inside. I could give you like the URL so you can drop it in the show notes so people can take a look what I'm talking about. And then we also have in our web pages, I don't think we have it in that landing page. We also tell people how long the reading would be. So that kind of primes them in terms of like their currency, which is time. So like how much time it's going to take. Usually we keep it down to 5 minutes or less. So not to intimidate people. And then you have a lot of these interactive type contents that, again, do what I told you before, break down very difficult, complex notions into more digestible bite sizes with minimal text that we can, again, pairing text with visuals that actually show what the text is talking about. And that's about it there. Like if you're doing a sales deck, which needs a whole different set of ways to convert, the stakes are higher. Here it's just like, okay, I'll try your tool. So it's easy. It's not easy to get 70% conversion rate, but it's relatively easier because there's no major decision to be made. But if I'm creating a sales deck or a proposal or something that's business heavy, then I want to start adding things like an ROI calculator, let's say, something that's more interactive, like segmentation for different decision makers, like in tabs, so I don't overwhelm whoever's reading it, like they can only read what's specific for them. So I don't have like, so again, coming back to PowerPoint versus Storydoc, in PowerPoint, you have to have like, let's say you have a tool that requires CTO, COO, and like an IT, I think that's CIO, Chief Information Officer, to like authorize basically the purchase. So you have a tab for both instead of creating in one slide, instead of creating like 3 slides for all of them, and then you have a lot of redundancy in your deck. And then what the main thing that helps us convert is that you can actually embed any tool into Storydoc because it's a web presentation. So you can embed anything from your vidyards down to like your dashboards in there. You can actually, and then we finish with usually with an embed of a calendar. So like you can, when you send your proposals to whoever, you can actually embed the calendar and people can book the meeting directly from the deck instead
That's
of
great.
like clicking a link, going there, doing that. It's all from the same monolithic document. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You could put like your music if you're creating like an electronic press kit. Basically, you can embed anything. You can embed another website in there. So if like a website builder and you want to have use cases in there, you can actually embed an example of your case studies. You can embed an example of the website that you built for a past client in there as well. But I don't know if you're going to ask this because you probably don't know. So I'll also
You can queue yourself up for your own question and answer if you want.
So the last main heavy important feature of Storydoc is the personalization capabilities. Basically, because it's a web document, it can accept dynamic variables. So you can add whatever you want from just the name of the person and their company to their brand colors, just color the entire presentation in their brand colors, to pulling in relevant videos. That happens with using the AI engine, by the way. And we also have an automated way of grabbing their logo. So you don't have to like search it on Google, find something that with like a transparent background, it just does it for you. And then you can also, it also automatically pulls things from your CRM. So you can do that on like a massive scale, like 1,000, whatever information you have for your contacts in your CRM, you can just pull in and create like, again, like a dynamic message. So, hey, it was great talking to you, whatever his name is. And you can like, so basically you can do wonders with that. And the system actually pulls in like even your calendar link automatically and your image from the CRM, from your like account in the CRM. So it like saves a huge amount of time for sales reps. And we use it for our own sales, and they're like, just like, thank God every day for being able to do this. So I just help myself. But I thought you'd like to know.
I love that. And I have one last question for today, and it's this. So you had stated, you're working in a technology business that's focused on growth, which is a specific type of marketer and a specific type of goals, and what your day-to-day is going to look like versus I've talked to marketers in all different shapes and sizes, big Fortune 500 companies to solopreneur just trying to have a lifestyle business. So what allows a marketer to thrive in a technology high growth based business? What advice would you have?
Can you rephrase that?
So you had stated, you work in a technology business and you're focused on growth. Not sure, what that end goal is going to look like. What allows a marketer to thrive in a business that's very growth oriented?
So basically any startup.
Correct. Any startup.
First thing is that like it's a bit of a cliche, but like a fail fast mentality. You don't have time to plan a 5-year plan. You can plan a 1-year plan, which I try to do, but usually things get messed up way before that. Sometimes even a quarterly plan doesn't go according to the plan. I'll give you an example. So Storydoc always had kind of like an AI touch in there, but it was much more primitive before the rise of ChatGPT. We existed a bit before that. So when ChatGPT came alive, we actually had to like sprint to create that engine that is now much more developed today that we use, but also create all that, like before that engine was developed, I had to create the pages that kind of promised that value before it was actually developed. So it was like so it can already gather some authority during a time that we're actually building the capabilities. And because it would obviously, for a small startup, it would be hard to rank. I'll just to give you some numbers. We started at that point, we were like 29 DR website. Now we're 72. Okay, so we couldn't allow ourselves to like wait till the product is out there to create the content. And now like our AI content is the best performing, first because we have a great product, but it started performing even with the old product with limited AI. There was also less competition then, but the point is that I had to move fast, and I had to do it before, like an established company that has budget would not take the risk of under delivering, right? Because we are creating a landing page for something that we kind of do well, but not yet didn't do well. And that actually mixes with another thing that is very important for startups, which is to always look for these low hanging fruits. So in AI, just because I don't know if you saw like the trends, but like it shot up like that. So basically we rode that wave, and that helped us surpass entrenched competition that were already like 5 years before us into the market, like pitch.com, right? So we couldn't just create a pitch deck creator and hope to beat them, right? Because we're small time. But what happens is that through the AI keywords, through the AI use case, we built links and we built authority, and we surpassed a lot of these bigger competitions. And today we're number one for pitch deck creator, and I think justifiably so. But it wouldn't have happened if we were afraid to fail, if we were afraid to underdeliver, and afraid and incapable of moving fast because of like a lot of like concerns for branding, and like basically the design of our website changed like 3 or 4 times during that time period. And some old stuff are still left behind because we don't have the time to go back and complete the work, because we always have something that's more important to growth. And that something comes up, like it could be a surprise, just come out of nowhere. We found something out that helps, that works. Boom, we pounce on it. And that happens almost every month. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed. I'll give you another example. We thought it would be a good opportunity to break through the market through slides, because we have like very good value offer for slides, because we have interactive slides. If you create a, like, I don't know, like any diagram, basically, then you can visualize it. You just put the data and it goes in. You don't have to like design it or anything like that. So it's like, so we mapped out all the slides in the world, and we created pages for like template pages for slides, and nothing happened. Nothing happened, like crickets for 6 months, 7 months. And that was a failure. But then at some point, I don't know why, a Google update, boom, shot up like first place in like a lot of these templates. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. But like, I guess either it was an authority issue that we built enough so that we could break in, or something in Google changed the evaluation of what brings value in that category. So initially we failed. This is actually a weird example in which we failed, but then actually succeeded. But you have to take into account that you may waste a lot of time on something that sounded like promising, but then failed. It just has to happen quick so you can pivot to the next option.
So lastly, can you share best ways to follow up with you, learn more about Storydoc?
So read our blog. It's it's a great resource for whatever content, business content or document you want to create. We try to go as deep as we can and cover everything.
Is that just on your main website?
On our main website, yeah.
And what's the URL for your website? Can you share that too?
Yeah. Should I say it or give it to you?
You can, if you want to say it, yeah.
It's Storydoc, like a story and a document. So storydoc.com, very easy. And the blog is found in our either /blog, and then you're there, or just search for whatever document that is you want to get, and you probably find us on Google.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today.
Last thing, if you want to contact me, I'm
yes,
free and available on LinkedIn. Amotz Harari. I know it's a mouthful. So AMOTZ HARARI. It's a a Middle Eastern name. So deal with it.
Perfect. Thank you for your time today.